Beauty has never been neutral. It never just simply appeared. It has been always selected. As always, I'm your host Nina, not just an art historian but also an active artist. You'll find more details in the description box. And in today's episode, we will discover how power decides what deserves to be seen and what not. Every civilization that claimed to define beauty also claimed the authority to decide what mattered, who mattered, and what should be erased. Beauty, far from being a universal truth, has always been a political instrument, using to stabilize power, justify hierarchy, and normalize inequality. When we ask why certain artworks survived, were preserved, canonized, and endlessly reproduced, while others vanished, we are not asking an aesthetic question, we are asking a political one. In ancient civilizations, beauty was not subjective, it was legislative. In ancient Egypt, artistic beauty followed strict proportional systems because art wasn't meant to reflect reality. It was meant to maintain cosmic order, or math. Pharaohs were eternally youthful, gods impossibly serene, bodies flattened into hierarchies of scale. The larger the figure, the greater the power. Deviation wasn't creativity, it was rebellion. Similarly, in ancient Greece, beauty was codified as a mathematical harmony. The canon of Polycletus didn't merely describe ideal proportions. It enforced a worldview where balance, symmetry, and rationality mirrored the political ideals of the polis. The perfect male nude wasn't just beautiful, it was a visual manifesto for citizenship, order, and control. Those who didn't fit the proportions, women, foreigners, enslaved people, were excluded not just socially, but also aesthetically. Beauty here wasn't inclusive. It was a gate, a selective community. When Rome inherited Greek aesthetics, it weaponized them. Roman emperors used classical beauty as propaganda, commissioning sculptures that blended divine perfection with recognizable facial features. Augustus is eternally young, eternally composed, eternally legitimate. Beauty becomes proof of right to rule. This pattern repeats across empires. In imperial China, Confucian ideals shaped court paintings, emphasizing restraint, moral clarity, and hierarchical harmony. Art that appeared chaotic or overly expressive was often dismissed as vulgar or morally suspect. In classical Indian aesthetics, the Shikla Shastras define beauty as a balance between physical perfection and spiritual symbolism. Gods were beautiful not because they were human, but because they embodied cosmic principles. Yet, even here, beauty reinforced hierarchy. Divine figures radiant, mortal figures subordinate, entire castes visually coded into place. Beauty wasn't decorative, it was instruction. With the rise of Christianity in Europe, beauty underwent a moral rebranding. Early Christian art rejected classical naturalism not because artists lacked skill, but because realism was considered dangerous. Too much beauty distracted from devotion. Too much flesh invited desire. Icons, flattened bodies, enlarged eyes, removed shadows, beauty stripped of sensuality, designed to discipline the viewer's gaze. Later, during the Renaissance, beauty returned, but selectively. Humanism revived classical ideals, yet access to beauty was tightly controlled. Patronage determined visibility. The Medici family didn't just found art, they curated reality. Michelangelo's David appears timeless, universal, but it was also a political symbol of Florentine independence. Botticelli's Venus looks mythological, but she's shaped by elite taste, elite money, elite ideology. Beauty flourished, but only where power allowed it to bloom. As Europe expanded outward, it didn't just conquer land, it ranked cultures aesthetically. African masks were dismissed as primitive. Japanese wood blocks prints were craft, not fine art. Indian temple sculpture was exotic, not intellectual. European academics defined beauty as realism, perspective, anatomy, oil paintings. Anything that didn't conform was classified as ethnographic rather than artistic. Ironically, many of those marginalized art forms later inspired European modernism. Think about Picasso's inspiration with African sculptures being the most famous example. What was once dismissed as crude suddenly became revolutionary once filtered through a European lens. The message was clear. Beauty is legitimate only when power approves them. By the 18th and 19th century, beauty had bureaucrats. The Salon of Paris, the Royal Academy in London, and similar institutions across Europe decided which artworks deserved attention. Jury systems enforced technical standards and moral values. Historical painting sat at the top, still life languished at the bottom. Artists who challenged those hierarchies, like Courbet or later the Impressionists, were rejected, not because their work was ugly, but because it threatened institutional control. When the Impressionists painted leisure, fleeting light, they weren't just changing style, they were challenging who had the authority to define beauty in the first place. The 20th century shattered the illusion that beauty was innocent. After industrialization, world wars, genocide, and mass mechanization, beauty itself became suspect. How could harmony and perfection represent a fractured world? Artists began to reject beauty not out of rebellion, but out of ethical necessity. Picasso's Guernica is deliberately ugly because war is ugly. Otto Dick's grotesque veterans confront the physical cost of nationalism. Francis Bacon distorts bodies until they scream because human experience had become unbearable to look at directly. In Japan, post-war artists like those associated with the Gutai movement rejected traditional beauty altogether. Art became action, deconstruction, raw gesture, a response to nuclear trauma and social rupture. In the Soviet Union, beauty was once again enforced, but ideologically. Socialist realism mandated optimism, strength, clarity. Anything abstract, ambiguous, or pessimistic was dangerous. The question is, who gets to be seen today? In the contemporary world, beauty is filtered through capital. Museums, collectors, galleries, biennales, these institutions shape visibility. Art that aligns with curational narratives, market trends, or political palatability circulates. art that doesn't often disappear. Even radical art must pass institutional approval. Beauty today is branded, sponsored, packed, and strategically framed. We are told taste is personal, but visibility is not. Beauty is never just beauty. Every era claims its standards are natural. Every system insists its beauty is inevitable. But history shows otherwise. Beauty has always been curated by power, religious, political, economic. It's been used to legitimize rule, erase dissent, and shape collective memory. So the real question isn't what is beautiful, it is who benefits when we agree. Because the moment the beauty feels unquestionable is usually the moment it's doing the most work. Thank you for watching it around Christmas time. I hope you noticed and enjoyed my little Christmas earrings, and I'm wishing you a very magical and cheerful period of Christmas. And wishing you not just Merry Christmas, but also to stay always beautiful and curious. I'll see you in the next episode. Ciao!